Welcome to my workshop. You are watching Casual DIY channel, and in today's video, well, I'm going to be putting together a cordless version of a miter saw that Evolution offers. It's a 36 volt system, so 2 batteries by 18 volts. It's a double bevel miter saw that does have some really cool features on it. So in today's video, you're gonna get a detailed assembly of this machine, and I'm gonna showcase all the features this tool has. However, today is not a review video. That will come down later on in a few months time when I actually do have some proper time with this tool. Right, so let's unpack everything and let's start putting the machine together. And just a quick disclaimer, this machine has been sent to me by Evolution free of charge to test out and see how it operates. However, I am not being paid to make this video or any videos in the future. And if you know me and the content I do, it's always honest, and if there's something wrong with the tool, well, you can be assured you will find that out on my channel. Now, the version I have comes with two 5 amp batteries. I believe you do have two options here, the two 5 amp batteries or two 8 amp batteries, and they actually send me the 8 amp batteries as well. So we're going to be testing all of that in the future. Putting this machine together shouldn't cause you any trouble at all, but there's few steps that we need to follow. Right, this is how the machine comes. You've got a mitre, 50 degrees. We need to change that to 0 degrees. That's indicated by the plate just over here. We've got a button at the front, press and hold, shift that over to 0 degrees, let go of that button, and that will lock automatically in that position for 0 degrees. Next, you do have a hole here and you do get this knob. Basically, that will allow to lock the position of the mitre in a degree that you actually want. So just screw that in. Right, the next thing we need to do, we need to make sure that the bevels are at 0 degrees. Now, the indicators are shown to be 0. However, if in your case they are not, what you need to do, there's a lever behind, release the lever. At the front, you've got a positive stop over here, okay? So undo that, and now you can freely move the head just like so. It goes left to right, so it's double bevel, as I mentioned. Set it up to the positive stop, and now it's locked into place at 0 degrees. Lock the lever down and you're golden. Next, we need to make sure that this lever is fully open, just like so, to allow for the two rods to go inside freely. And that's the part I was just talking about, okay? You've got two rods that will need to go in there. On the sides of these rods, as you can see, you've got a green marker, and you do have these plastic pins. Now, they need to be sticking out as they are right now. If they're pushed inside, what you need to do, press that green button and then pull them out and just put them through. Now, with the locking lever, we can lock that in place. This will not slide now. All right, so that's the head of our machine itself. Over here, on both sides, is exactly the same. You've got a bolt, and as you can see, there's a hole. Through that hole, we need to see that green indicator from the rail, just over here. When you see it fully, when you hear the thing click, as we're gonna put that head on, then you lock it with those bolts. And as I say, same thing on the other side. Before putting the head on, make sure these bolts are undone, okay? You can do it with your fingers, don't have to take them out fully, but just make sure they're not in the way. If you can't move them by hand, well, you do have a bit of onboard storage. You've got a Allen key, two sizes, everything you need for this machine anyway. So perfect solution there. And as you can see, the green pin is visible. Make sure it is on both sides. If it is, just lock the bolts fully on both sides. Next, we can install these sides, okay? You do have these screws already in the machine, so you have to undo them. Offer the side, put the screws in and lock it tight. Same thing on the other side. Alright, let's install the blade that does come with this machine. It's the multi-purpose blade from Evolution, so it cuts through steel, aluminium, plastic, wood and everything else you can imagine. To do that we need to release the head itself, and you do have a pin over here. So hold the head down, pull the pin and the head goes up. Next, with the key provided, you need to undo this bolt. It's actually not done up fully, so you can probably take it out by hand. However, if it was done up fully and it was really hard to take out, then at the front of the machine you do have this button. When you press that, it actually locks everything in place and it will not spin on you, and it's a lot easier to undo that screw. So let's take it off. There we go. That's the flange that will be holding our blade. All right, and you've got another piece inside. That stays where it is, okay? We're gonna install the blade with the graphics going outside. You do have an arrow indicating which way is gonna be spinning. So it's going this way, okay? You can lift the cover, slide in the blade, just like so. Put the flange back in. Don't forget about the bolt. And now we need to tighten that with our key. Okay, but it's going to be spinning. So remember, we do have this button here. We need to press and hold that, and we can do it up fully. Okay, so now we can actually release the locking pin at the back to make sure, well, our sliding mitre saw slides correctly. Does it go down? Yeah, no issues at all. So to operate this machine you need two batteries. You cannot run this machine on one single battery. The battery system Evolution went for is 18 volts. So this machine is actually a 36 volt system, which means it should pack enough power to tackle most of the tasks, especially cutting through metal or anything like that. With the multi-purpose blade you do need that extra power, and having two batteries, well, it should be operating for a significant amount of time, so you won't be changing the batteries constantly. So how do you actually install those? Well, the best way to do it, take the head down, lock it in place. Just behind the handle, that's the holding place for both of the batteries. Super simple, slide it in just like so, and it's actually quite simple to remove as well. On top of it, at the front you've got the indicators for the battery, so you can straight away see how much juice you've got left. Now to operate this machine, to actually switch it on, you've got this lever over here. However, it doesn't go, it doesn't allow you to be pushed until you press that little lever here. So tell you what, let's give it a spin for the first time. Well, I have to say, it's actually very quiet. So what else do you get in this package? Well, you do get a hose adapter, quite important if you want to hook up your dust extraction, or if you don't have one, if you're working on a job site, you've got this little bag. And as we are on the topic of dust collection, well, we've got something new here from Evolution. You do have this plastic cover that's actually removable. You can take it off. If you damage this, you can disassemble that and just buy a new shroud. So I'm hoping the collection of sawdust actually, in this case, will be a little bit better. However, as you can see, there's still that much gap left between the bed and the shroud itself. I would actually like to see something that's a little bit longer and maybe goes a little bit further just over here, but we'll see how that goes. We'll see how well that collects the sawdust. And just over here at the back, that's the port for your hose for the dust extraction. You also do get two clamps. One that's clamping your piece of timber or anything you're cutting from the top, and the other one, this one, that clamps your work against the fence itself. Let me show you how it works. Over here behind the fence we do have a hole where this metal bar slides in. I do actually like the way how rigid it is. It shouldn't move on you once it's in place. You can now amend the height of your clamp. With the clamp itself, you do have a quick release button. When you press that, you can quite freely take it up and down. The plastic foot swivels all around, so no worries if you're cutting something that's a little bit uneven. And obviously you can do it up tightly to make sure your piece of work will not move. The second clamp, it does have a special dedicated slot that's located just over here. It's on both sides of the machine, so again you can use it left or right. Slide it like that, move it, and again you can do up the pressure with your clamp, similar to a F clamp, for example. Okay, however, with this I would be a little bit mindful. You need to be careful with that, not to apply too much pressure, as there's a good chance you're going to shift your fence, and you definitely don't want that. So with using that, make sure not to add too much pressure. And finally, well, in the package you're going to have a zero clearance plate. Great stuff, I'm liking that. So this plate over here, the original one, that will accommodate your bevel cuts when the blade is going to be going into an angle and it needs a wider opening. However, if you really want to have cuts with no tear out or precision is key, then the zero clearance plate is absolutely fantastic. And I really do appreciate from Evolution that they went that extra mile, if you want, to actually include this in the package and give you the ability to have an option like this. However, I wish they went 2 miles ahead, not just the one, but I'm going to tell you why in just a second. Oh, and I would almost forget, with this package you do get a dual charger, so you can charge both of the batteries at the same time. And according to the box itself, it says it will charge 2 amp battery in half an hour, 4 amp battery in 50 minutes, 5 amp battery 60 minutes, and 8 amp battery in 95 minutes. So let me give you some figures, more or less how big this machine is. So the depth is about 97, 98 centimeters, so absolutely massive. Wide, we've got 76 and a half. And how tall is it? It got about 62 centimeters. So as you can see, it's not a small tool, and the depth, the size of the workbench you're going to need for this is absolutely massive. Of course, if you're on a job site, that really doesn't matter because you should have all the space that you need. But if you want to have it in your workshop, then, well, you need to consider the size of this tool. Right, let's talk about the features of this machine. Obviously, mitre saw, okay? So you can choose any mitre you want, and it goes from 50 degrees to 50 degrees either side. So that's very good. It does have positive stops as well. So that's really cool and easy to use, okay? You've got presets for obviously 45, 30, 25, 10, 5, 0, and so on, okay? Both sides. However, you do have a really cool feature here on both sides. Just over here, you've got this latch. If you pull it towards you, it fully locks that button there, so you don't have to hold it. And now you can dial in any degree you want, okay? It's not going by the positive stops that are built into this machine. You can just set up a random angle. For example, let's go 7 degrees. And now you can release that, lock it in place, jobs are good in 7 degrees set up. I do like the fact that this is stainless steel and all the digits and all the markings are actually, well, I think they are engraved in the metal itself. It's not a rubbish sticker, it's not going to rub off, it's very accurate, it's you can see it quite well, so that's very, very nice. I do also like the fact that you can amend everything, okay? You can amend the plate, the position of the plate, and the arrow as well just over here, so that's very, very good. The fences themselves, the top part, you can slide it in and out depending if you are cutting bevels, making sure you're not going to cut off a part of your fence. You can move it out of the way, and actually you can take the whole thing out with ease. And that gives you a couple of interesting options, as you can create something yourself, a DIY version that will you know, enable you to do a specific task. So a nice jig for your mitre saw, that is going to work for your needs. Now when it comes to setting up bevels, I like the whole system as well, plus the fact that, again, no stickers. This is, I don't know, painted on or something. It shouldn't rub off. It actually feels like it's probably engraved slightly and then painted over, but I think nothing's going to happen with that, and that's far better than rubbish stickers you can find on some of the machines. At the back, you just got a locking lever, okay, so there's no screws, no nothing. Just open it up like so, and you can amend the angle of your bevel. On top of that, you do have a positive stop system over here with this little handy device here. If you pull it away, okay, and set it up to the horizontal position, now you can change the angle of your bevel. And for example, if you want 15 degrees, that's it, 15 degrees, lock it with your lever and that stays as is, okay? But it does have built-in positive stop, so 0, 22.5, 33.9, 45, of course, yeah? So change that lever back to the position that it was originally, okay? And now if you release the lever, the first positive stop will be at 22.5. There you go, it jump into place, positive stop, lock it down, job done. And also, when this is set up like so, so it's not going in that notch in the horizontal or vertical notches, okay, so it's somewhere in the middle, you can now shift the bevel to 48 degrees. Now this machine also comes with a depth stop that's located just over here. At the minute it is going to go the full way, okay, however you do have a small lever that goes down, and then you've got this depth screw with a wing nut, so you can easily set up the distance that the blade will travel. Let's say that's what I want, and as you can see, the screw is now resting on that metal plate and our blade is just above the level of the bed itself. So that's our depth stop, okay? However, you also do have this little lever at the back, okay? It's the backstop feature for maximum depth of cut, okay? So that will stop against just over here, and that will cause the blade to be further away from the fence itself. If you remove the stop, it will go deeper in. However, the best feature in my opinion of this machine is how this saw lets you know where the blade's gonna go on your piece of timber. Let me show you. Now this machine, it doesn't have a laser. It's got something far better. It uses shadow line. So check this out. Can you see the line? I'm gonna switch the line out. Look at that, okay? The line is indicating where the blade's gonna go, and it will work for any blade, any curve, and that's the beauty of it. With a laser, if you change the blade and the curve is different, the laser may not show you exactly where the blade's gonna go. With this solution, with the shadow line, as you can see, you can actually see me moving the teeth of the blade, okay? It will work for any blade with any curve. As you can see, that's my line there. I can marry it up to the shadow line for a bob-on, perfect and accurate cut. And if you are wondering, well, the light is just behind the blade there, as you can see. And best of all, it will work on any type of material, any color of the material. As you can see, I'm using white melamine board, and if you are working in full sunshine, you will see the shadow line, whereas with lasers, well, sometimes in full sunlight they are very hard to see. As mentioned before, the machine itself operates on 36 volt. On top of it, the motor itself is brushless. It does have a slow start and an electric stop as well. And on top of it, the battery system that Evolution uses is compatible with Airbauer. So if you do have any Airbauer tools, any Airbauer kit with batteries already, well, they will fit perfectly into Evolution, or vice versa. If you want to buy Evolution kit with some batteries, they will work for Airbauer tools as well. Let's talk about the cut capacity for this machine. As you know, it's fairly large. Let's see what it can handle. I do have my stats and figures here on my phone. So the cross cut capacity is 300 millimeters by 90 millimeters. So fairly large. You can tackle bigger boards on this. Now when it comes to mitre, 45 degrees, the cut capacity changes to 215 by 90 millimeters. Bevel at 45, 305 by 52 millimeters. If you've got mitre and bevel set to 45 degrees, so a compound cut, you got 215 by 52 millimeters. So as you can see, fairly decent figures there, guys. We can tackle some larger projects with this tool as well. Right then, I think I've covered more or less all the most important features of this machine, and as you can see, it's actually super capable. It does pack a lot of fantastic features, and the overall quality of this machine, guys, it doesn't feel like cheap evolution. It actually feels premium. The materials, the quality, the finishes, it really does the job. I'm quite impressed how it looks like. Now, if it's 100% accurate and everything else out of the box as we put together, I do not know, and we'll explore that in my next video. Same with actually testing it out a little bit more. Today would be just too long of a video if I'd done that. However, tell you what, I need to cut something to see how the dust extraction looks like and if it actually can cut anything. Let's have a look. Well, it cuts with ease, and that shadow curve line is absolutely fantastic. I do love that feature. However, as you can see, the dust extraction system, well, it's like on any other mitre saw. Maybe it's a little bit better from the R255 SMS, the original source. However, probably not by much. So the dust extraction is still an issue, but you know, to be expected. These are job site miters, so don't expect miracles. However, the shroud itself over here is actually a fairly good idea in my opinion, and it can be improved quite easily. So, hey, tell you what, that's one of the improvements I'm going to be sorting out for this saw, that's for sure, and hopefully will reduce the amount of sawdust going forward. As mentioned before, they do supply you a zero clearance plate, and that's fantastic. That's great news. However, I do change blades on my saws, okay, to different curves, and having just one, well, okay, it's gonna work. It's better than nothing. However, the way it's designed, well, it's preventing us from making our own version of it. So you are most likely going to be buying them off Evolution websites, okay, which is fine. You know, it's additional profit for the company for something that they thought over and actually included in the design itself. The problem with actually changing and swapping to these plates is that you have to remove the fence itself, and I'm guessing these notches are not so easy to remove, but we'll check that out in future videos. So there is a bit of a process of changing them, and as I said, I would like to have a solution where I could actually make my own, and to be fair, I will do, and I will let you know in my future videos how I got with that. But I would rather have a different system of mounting these, so basically I can make my own, okay, so I don't have to rely on buying these from the Evolution store. So having just few screws holding it together to the body of the machine, I think it would be a little bit better for us consumers. Maybe not for the company, because, well, you need to buy them from them. But tell you what, I think I'm going to find a way of making our own zero clearance blade for the saw as well. So far that's the only two gripes I've got with the machine. The dust collection, to be expected, and the way the zero clearance blade is handled over here. Although I have to say, it's better to have something than nothing. Maybe I'm wishing for too much. The next thing is the price of this machine, okay? Evolution is known to have very good pricing, very well budget orientated, but still delivering a solid machine. Now this Mitre saw without the battery pack will cost you 450 British pounds. With the battery pack and the charger, you are looking at 650 British pounds. So it is quite expensive for a Mitre saw. However, when you think about it, all the features and the quality I'm seeing at the moment, I think that price is more or less there. It's early doors, it's new to the market, so the prices eventually will drop down a little bit. And if you don't need the batteries, if you, for example, got air Bauer kits, well, you're already better off with that. If you do want to have this machine as a job site saw, okay, it's actually not too bad to carry, as you do have the handle at the back and obviously the one at the front. So you do have a mean of actually carrying it around, and it weighs with the batteries about 18 kilograms, so it's not too bad. It's in that respect it's actually quite good, as you are getting a massive machine that will tackle more or less all the jobs that you need on a job site. And Evolution also actually offers a mobile stand for this saw, so it's easier to use on a job site. And I actually do have that stand in my workshop, so I'm going to be covering that in my future video. However, if you want to have this Mitre saw in your workshop, well, you need to consider the size. As I stated, it will take a lot of room in your workshop. And if the room is an issue in your workshop, well, then you may consider buying something else. I will be covering this machine in more detail in my future videos. We'll check the accuracy of this tool. As it is right now, I've not done anything with it, I've not set it up, so we'll see how accurate that is. And also I'm going to go through the procedures to make sure it is accurate, or to get it accurate. Okay, so we're going to tune this saw to make sure it's not only good for a job site, it's actually good to do some precision work as well. As you can see, fairly capable machine, seems to be loaded with really cool and handy features. Build quality so far, to me, seems to be a very high standard. However, as I said, still early doors, plenty more to test, actually to test it properly, see how accurate it is, and all that will be in the future videos. However, if you are already convinced that this is the machine you want, I do have a link to this machine down below in the description of this video, and I do have a discount code for you as well. Finally, I've partnered with Evolution to give you a little bit back, so there is a discount on Evolution website for all the tools. Even the table saw, you can get a sweet deal with that, guys. So check it out, get your discount code, and yes, it's an affiliated link, so you're gonna get a great tool, you're gonna get a discount on it, and you're gonna support the channel as well. So win-win situation for everybody. But as I say, if you're on the fence, just wait for the future videos and we'll see if there is any issues with this tool, or is it actually a very good, reliable and solid machine. For today, that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you on my next video when I'm going to be showing you how this machine operates to its full potential. Take care.